Here we are. Luis, how fantastic to be having this conversation with you.
Thank you, Joe. It's always a pleasure seeing you.
And shall we start with some how fantastic, how fantastic. Now, as you know, there are three basic questions in this conversation, and it's about joy. And the first one, Luis, is what is joy to you? What does joy mean to you, Luis?
Oh, wonderful question. Joy for me is like connection with other people, connecting to yourself, connecting to your environment, I think. Uh,
Yes,
and
yes,
how and now another question that could emerge from that is like how how do you bring joy to yourself? And what I found is like what gives me more pleasure and more joy is to serve others. So when
very
I
nice.
serve others, I don't have pain, I don't have regrets, I don't
Yep,
have
yep,
fear. I think I live the present when I'm doing service. In
yes,
any kind of service, it doesn't matter if it's going to visit a group or just like helping someone, but and
yes,
with service, it's like you think that you're doing something for them, but actually they are giving you the opportunity to do something for
yes,
that you feel use that you
yes.
do something.
Yes, yes, yes. So, a connection and service, and it's like it's a loop. It's a feedback, and you give and you
Yeah.
receive and you receive and you give. How amazing! How amazing! Well, this of course, in a way, this also answers the second question. But I'll ask it anyway, which is how important. So, how important is joy to you, Luis?
Well, it's very important, I think, and it's also perspective. It's like how do you want to see the event that you have in front of you, and
Yes,
you decide how you want to see it, and that's
yes.
perception. So it's very important for us to, for me, for people, for to share this that like you're in charge of what you want to feel and what you want to see or
Yes,
what you want to hear. Like
yes,
events are neutral most of the time, and you were the ones who put some weight on them.
yes, yes. Now I'm going to add an extra question, Luis, because this is such an interesting conversation. And the question that comes to mind is, at what point in your life did you realize this? Did you realize so how important joy was to you? How,
Mhm.
no, when in your life, and was there anything in particular that triggered this, or was it just
Yeah.
a natural process in your life?
Well, I think there have been some events in my life, like growing up. I have a brother who is 10 years older than me, and when he was in like in his early 20s, he started to work with some group of kids. Like they belong to the street, but they had to a place to go and play with them. So he
Yep,
would take them to a market or play with them or to
yep,
some cultural and sports activity or just to eat.
yep,
So then he would tell me what he did with them, and he was very happy. So I think
yep.
that was a seed that he planted on me. And then
Very
later on,
nice.
I used to live in the US where I met laughter yoga through my teacher, Jeffrey Breyer. So I
Yes,
saw the service that he was doing, like doing laughter yoga every single day for such a period of time. So that
yes,
was service. So that was is one thing is when people talk about things, and one other thing is when they do things, and they don't
yes,
have to talk much because the action are very loud. So
yes,
then
yes,
I came back to Mexico City, and um, I wasn't expect. Well, I was living a very frugal life, which I still keep it. So I didn't know what to do, and at that point I was like, well, I have this tool, which was
yep,
laughter yoga among other tools. So then I started to do some service, and I would go to different groups like
Yeah.
old people, elders, and like
Yeah.
people with cancer, kids.
Yeah.
And then when I went to prison for the first time, that was like a big hit of my head. Like, well, this is what you want to do. So for me, it's like it happened gradually, and then I was
Yeah.
like, well, and then I think at some point I didn't know if I was doing good or not because sometimes I felt like I always question myself. My mind is always
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah.
So then I would question myself: Am I doing something good for these people? Just like living the illusion of like they are happy for a few minutes and then
Yeah.
I leave and they stay in their same place and
Yeah.
with all the things that have to deal with in a prison and like I was
Yeah.
questioning, and
Yeah.
then it's beautiful because life gives you the answer that you ask. So then I would get some testimonies of people that say, you know what, by doing this, I realized that I don't look at my family in the eye, and when they come visit me, I do it, or I feel free. I don't feel that I'm in a cage anymore. Or like in a meditation, there was a lady who said, I have the chills when I talk about that. She said, "You know what? The other day I felt like I was a bird and I left this place and that was at the end of
Amazing.
the session. So and then
Yes.
she shared that like I felt like I was a bird and I left this place and flew to see my mom and my mom was I was like on at her window and I saw my mom like she was praying for me to be released and then she was like oh that was so vivid it was so real Luis and then the following week I saw her and she says like you know what my mom came and she said that the other day she was praying for me to be released and then all of a sudden she saw a little bird and she felt that it was me. So when I got those testimonies, I was like, I'm in the right track. And I kept doing it for
Fantastic.
so I
That's
think
fantastic, Luis.
and I think in anything that we learn, we have to go through that process of like, am I really doing
Yes.
what I'm supposed to be doing, or is it am I am I doing something good or bad? And
Yes.
well, I
Yes.
don't know if that happened to other people, but for me, it's like, oh, my.
Amazing.
And then, well, I have a bunch of testimonies like that, and it's been amazing.
Amazing.
Hmm.
Yes. 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 Um, so what will be your top tip? Your top joy tip? What would be?
Well, my and when I think about joy, is like I think another thing that gives you a lot of joy is when you overcome um, bad situations. So
Yep.
you like, okay, I'm dealing with health problems, with financial problems, with love problems,
Yep.
and then you realize, okay, yes, but I still have a lot of things that I can enjoy. I have a lot of
Yes.
things that, and I for me like if you are facing a problem like that, I would suggest find a group and share what you can. And sometimes
Um,
people think, oh, well, I don't have anything to share with people. And well, just be there. And like in some
yes.
places, like I've been like at some point when I came back from the US and I was traveling in Mexico, I would go to places and serve people food
Yep.
and
Yep.
you always have a place to do service and
Yes.
then it's like Mother Teresa would say, when you serve, you don't look at your belly button anymore. You look at
Yes.
others. And then you are not like,
Yes.
oh, me. I feel like this. And oh
Yes.
my God. And then, so I think for me, it's like service
Yes.
is the key.
So,
Service,
yes.
go and it could be something as simple as like say hi to your neighbor. It's that simple like how are
Yes.
you doing? Do you are like it's always be a place for people who want to serve.
Amazing, amazing. This is absolutely amazing and wonderful and lovely conversation, Luis. And I know people are going to be very inspired by this conversation because what I've heard, uh, well, is I've heard connection, right, and I've heard service, and I've heard, the way that, the way to overcome um, sort of self-doubt. Is this really worthwhile? Am I actually doing something valuable or not? And then
Yeah.
and then the growth process, the feedback that we get that then
And let me ask
encourages
you
us.
about that. Have you ever had that problem? Like you yourself doubt? Have you ever
Um,
experienced that?
uh, um, well,
And
yes,
some
yeah,
point in your
yeah.
life?
Well, yes, because because particularly I found with laughter yoga in the early days, in my early days, it seemed such a strange thing, because with society very much often programs us to be serious and responsible, and this kind of slightly heavy vibe, right? Um,
Mm-mm.
uh, to come in and say, well, actually, let's enjoy the moment, let's enjoy being alive, let's enjoy each other, and just sort of celebrate being alive. I did wonder, early on whether it was actually valuable or not. But then
Yeah.
I had the same kind of feedback as you had, people saying, "Oh, wow, yes, it really meant something. I really felt something. It really made a difference in my life." Um,
Mm.
um, uh,
Good.
um, but
Thank
it's
you for sharing
fantastic.
that.
Um, no, so Louise, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this
You're very
conversation. It's been
welcome. Anytime.
absolutely fantastic. And as we started with a nice silent laugh, shall we finish with another silent laugh? No.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Lovely,
much.
Louise. Okay. See you again. Okay.
See you.
Bye
Take care.
bye. Bye bye.